when that happened, I was like, the crowd was all fired up, and I'm like, I got to get into this somehow. Like, there's got to be something.
Welcome, everyone, to episode whatever of the COD Casuals. I'm your host, Justin.
And I'm Mike.
How you doing, Mike?
Very good, man. Very good. We had a nice weekend here. We were at the Helix Center in Foxborough watching some absolute LAN beasts.
Yep.
One of us that's in front of us right now. His competitive career, I believe, started this weekend.
And it might end this weekend.
It might, yeah. This might be one of the shortest competitive careers that has ever existed.
Yeah.
That hurts.
But yeah, I mean, do you want to introduce him?
Yeah.
Don't know him already?
If you guys don't know, and you guys aren't on Twitch watching him, he's a fellow Boston Breach member. He's from Maryland. You might know him as Tdawgsmitty, or also Tyler Smith.
Yeah.
How you doing,
That's not
man?
made up. That's a real name.
Yep.
Yeah.
That is my real name. Yeah. People always ask me, are you sure that's your real name? I'm like, yeah, that's my real name.
Yeah.
I'm doing good. It's good. I'm in Boston for the weekend for the LAN, obviously, and we played, and we got dead last, which was not.
It's all right.
It was not good, but we learned a lot. We're going to go back to the drawing board, and rumors are having it that I retire, but it might be fake news, and I might try one more of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who costed on the team?
I'm going to be straight up honest with you. Hard point wise, it was me.
Okay.
I'm man enough to take the blame. Search and destroy, I would have liked a little help.
Yeah.
I felt like I was making the right calls, but we were not listening to me. And we did game around 11. We did the do nothing strategy, and we didn't put the bomb down, and it cost us.
It happens, man. That's happened to us.
Yeah, all the time.
All the
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
Happens.
So I was going to ask you too, though, because like if everyone remembers from our episode 100 where we had Denz, like obviously he's got a really good career on LAN. He's been under the lights more times.
I got a bone to pick
Most
with him.
people.
He was supposed to be one of our players.
What happened?
It was supposed to be me, Brittany, Denz, and either another coach or might have even been Doug.
Wow.
Yeah.
That would have been a good team.
And instead, we got Chris, who's the content director, and Meadows, who's the merch designer. And that was a little bit different than what I thought we were going to have coming in.
Yeah.
So
And I realized we were playing challenger people. So everything changed very quickly when I walked in the door.
Yeah.
How was it playing under the lights too, though?
I like the lights. But it was just a different circumstance. It was like you were supposed to have a pro teammate, and then you just got another one of me, and that's just never good. That's never a good thing.
Right.
Well, like this time, the last LAN, they did a way better job of promoting it this time.
Yeah.
'Cause last LAN, it was like half the teams, and there were no challenger players.
Yeah.
So they
well, maybe we should have went the other way last time because the challenger players, I don't know, but we did a couple promotions with my social media and Brittany's social media, so hopefully, I guess the word got out a little bit more this time.
Definitely.
And obviously the Breach socials.
Yep.
Yeah, helped out a ton.
Yeah. But I mean, man, we just want to start off by saying thank you for accepting this
man.
super last minute. This dude we walked in, introduced ourselves, and he was like, I'm here all day.
Yeah.
Let's record an episode.
Yeah, so we just drove back, grabbed all the gear, and here we are. So yeah,
Love it.
huge
Yeah.
shout
Dude,
out.
I love
Appreciate it.
podcasts.
Yeah.
I listen to them. I think I listen to podcasts more than I listen to like music now, which is insane.
Yeah,
Obviously, like gym and stuff on music, but I'm always having some sort of podcast in my ear, like when I'm walking around or like even falling asleep.
Before we get into things, question about that: do you watch podcasts or do you listen to podcasts?
It's funny. I think I listen more. I used to watch, but I think it just when I could have like one earbud in and I can just go about my day and then be listening rather than like if I have to plop down and watch for an hour. But I do like to watch sometimes, like I watch like the Optic podcast when I'm like falling asleep on my monitor or something. So
Right.
it all depends. I would say I definitely listen to them more than I watch them though.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Interesting.
Might be old fashioned though, honestly. It might be a younger generation watching them.
No, I think it's just because a lot of content creators are putting out video now.
Yeah.
And like I started off like watching YouTube, so if there's a video version, I just watch that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Depends too who does it. Like, do you know Jocko Willink? You ever heard of that guy before?
No.
He's like, I don't even know how you would describe him. I mean, he has nothing to do with gaming, but he's like, I don't know, really like big motivation guy.
Maybe I have that. Like TikTok?
Fitness. I don't know if he does TikTok.
Okay.
The dude's jacked, you know.
Man, I feel like he might do TikTok.
He may.
He probably
Yeah.
does.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me.
Splits his clips up and puts it on
But
TikTok.
oh yeah, probably like
Yeah.
small snippets from.
Yeah.
But his podcast is black and white, and there's no, there's real no like visual appeal to it. You know,
Huh.
if you think about like the Optic podcast, it's like very nice looking.
Yeah,
set and
yeah.
everything.
So I've
his, I
never
could-
seen a black and white TikTok, so probably not that.
Yeah, him, I could just listen to his podcast.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
like there's nothing to watch for.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of a podcast that I watch. I really, now that I think about it, I don't watch that many.
Yeah,
Even the ones that do video, I just listen to it.
right.
Listen? Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, it's always interesting
Yeah.
to hear what people say. About
Spotify
it,
too.
you
I'm,
know?
I'm a big. I've been kind of going back and forth between Apple Music and Spotify.
Mm-hmm.
See, I'm doing the same thing. I'm not the only one.
Yeah, see,
People were saying in the comments, like, you listen on Apple Podcast.
Yeah,
Who does
yeah.
that?
I thought you were a little tripping too on that. I mean, you've got what separate, like for
Yeah.
Apple's podcast and Spotify's music, right?
Yeah.
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 I've just always had it like that.
Yeah, that's how I do it too. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then I've been trying to get on the I'm trying to get on the Spotify podcast train.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
just keep everything in one.
Yep.
That's how
I'm
I
trying
roll.
to.
Yeah.
Spotify is like my hub for everything, for
It's
music.
just easy.
Yeah, exactly.
It's clean, simple, easy to find stuff, navigate and all that. So, yeah, I'm a Spotify guy right now.
Gotcha.
Could change in a couple months though. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But you know, for the people listening that don't know who you are, who's Tyler Smith, or how did Tdawg become a thing?
Yeah. So I've been gaming since I was probably 5. The Super Nintendo was probably my first console. But I always tell people my first real like gaming sweaty time was when my uncle gave me an N64. And he gave me that console. I don't know why he did it, but I got it for free for like Christmas because he got like a PS2 or something. And then I got GoldenEye, and I just got addicted. I know me and my buddies playing, trying to beat them every time. They were screen peeking, I would still beat them. So I knew I was like okay at video games at that point compared to like my neighborhood crew. And then obviously first person shooter, James Bond. Like I don't think I played anything but James Bond for like 5 years because it was just so fun. And then it just kind of kept rolling, and I kept, every system that came out, when I started kind of making a little bit of money, I would do the trade-in stuff. Like I would try to find games that my buddies didn't want anymore. I'd be like, hey, can I have this from you? He's like, yeah. And I'd go trade in at GameStop for like $10. And then I would add all that up, go get the new system. I was a big GameCube guy. I don't know how or why, but I played PS2 because my buddy had it, but I was more GameCube. Moved on to the 360, and then that's when I fell in love with the GoldenEye, but then like Halo and Call of Duty, like the early ones on 360 was like, I knew I wanted to do something with gaming, but at that time it was like, there's nothing really there. Cause like my generation, which I'm 30, which I'm not sure why I'm putting that on tape, but I guess we kind of made it a little bit, like the Nate Shots kind of created it. So there was not like esports, or, I mean, maybe there was, but wasn't like, you didn't
now.
watch it like you do now. So I was like, man, I'd love to get into gaming, but I guess the only real option was like video game design. And I'm not that smart to do that. So I was like, all right, well, just keep playing for fun and do a job, or I guess a real job. So eventually we get into marketing as after school, and did social media management and all that good stuff. And then the pandemic hits, and well, actually, let me back up a little bit. I went to my first ever event in Black Ops 4. So there's like these little pieces of time where I'm like, man, I really want to do gaming. And then I went to a Black Ops 4 tournament, and Optic won.
Where was this?
This was in Vegas.
Okay.
So we
Oh, the Optic one.
Yeah, the Optic beat, I guess, E United maybe?
Yeah, E United.
And when that happened, I was like, the crowd was all fired up, and I'm like, I got to get into this somehow. Like, there's got to be something. So at that point, Fortnite was kind of blowing up, and so I started streaming, but I did the terrible way. I just streamed, no content anywhere else, streamed to my buddies watching me. And then eventually my buddy hit me up, like, and I was doing that pretty frequently, streaming to like nobody and getting like 20, 30 subs a month. I was like, man, one of these days it's going to break through. And I'm like, you're such an idiot. Like, now that I know what I know, I'm like, I was such an idiot, because it's never going to break through. Just a heads up, anybody at home, don't stream at all. Like, make content first. So COVID hits, I guess, and I'm working from home mostly, And then my buddy comes up to me. He's like, "Hey, man, my brothers are in, my brother and sister are in high school, and all these kids are talking about is TikTok. Like they're on their phone all the time scrolling these videos." I'm like, TikTok? Like that's that weird dancing app, and like that's not my style. He's like, no. Like they have like gaming clips on there now. They have like sports clips. They have cars, and I'm like, all right. Well, he's like, you should just try. I mean, what's it gonna hurt? I'm like, yeah, I guess I will. And that was before Reels and Shorts, and I'm like, all right. So I started doing Cold War class setups on TikTok, and they just started booming, like 100,000, 200,000, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, because you compare it to like YouTube, like when you see 100,000 viewed YouTube, you're like, that's insane. So I was kind of having that same. Now that I know TikTok blows up, way more than a YouTube video, but I was like, man, I could keep doing this and like grow the following. So I just kept doing it. And I don't know. It was one of those weird things like where COVID was happening, TikTok blew up, and I just kept making content. And the content was resonating with people, and they were following me. And then the opportunity that came out of nowhere was Toronto Ultra. I don't know if anybody knows this, but I was on Toronto Ultra before Boston Breach. And they put out a job. They said, we want TikTok creators. We're going to create a TikTok team. And I applied, and it was I sent 2 TikToks in as like my resume, and they put them out on their page, and they were like the top 2 performing ones. And I don't know if that's how they based it, but I got the job shortly after, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I somehow got into esports through TikTok.
That's crazy.
It is kind of nuts. Yeah, it was weird because I didn't think that would be the way I could get in, but you think you got to be a big YouTuber, or you got to be this big streamer, or be a pro yourself. And I was like, I used a dancing app. So it's like, you never know.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
So if you don't mind just backtracking a little bit. So you said you would
kind of skipped a lot.
Yeah. Well, you did a great job summing up your whole life story. That was just pretty, I got to tip,
3 minutes.
I gotta tip you to that, man. That's impressive. But I was going to say though, so you're in Black Ops 4, you get into that.
Yeah.
Like, what's the first COD that you're even playing?
Oh,
so you switched to 360, like, because we asked Denz this. What was his? World at War?
Yeah, World at War.
That was his.
He's not even an OG.
And oh man.
So I don't know if I definitely did play the first COD, but the first COD that I remember grinding was COD 2, because the COD 2 came with the Xbox 360. So if you bought the 360, you got COD 2, and me and my buddy just grinded because it had online play.
COD 2 was on the 360?
Yes. It was on the 360, and they gave it to you for free.
Wow.
When would that ever happen again?
Well, because I think like the earliest COD I played was COD Finest Hour.
Yeah, that was like PS2 era, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I played all those, like the big red ones and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But COD 2 was the one where I was like, because before COD 2, it was Medal of Honor that was like popping. Frontlines and Dogs or European Assault. I was thinking Dogs was a theme.
Rising Sun.
Rising Sun. Those 3 were unbelievable.
Rising Sun that's like my my childhood shooter.
Yeah.
That's with the first mission with the.
That's the guy with the white shirt. That's the white shirt. Yep, it's the white shirt. He's got the gun in his hand.
Yeah,
rifle.
Yeah.
And then European Assault was fantastic too.
Yeah, those games were like educational too.
That's what I miss about the CODs. I mean, I know we like the futuristic ones, but COD used to always have like ties to real life.
Yeah,
and it was like, this is kind of cool. Like World at War is one of my favorite CODs because it's like a history lesson while you're playing a video game.
Yeah, they didn't even use like the actual characters' names. Like I remember European Assault. I think for Medal of Honor.
Yeah, they
would give an intro to every mission, which was so cool, but it was all based around the character that you were playing as, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, World at War, they would go like, I don't know, you'd be in Okinawa, and they would do some whole background on like the battles that went on there.
It's not the best COD, but it's definitely like, there's a difference between the best COD and like my favorite COD, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like my favorite COD is probably World at War, but like the best COD all around experience probably was like Black Ops 2 for me.
See, I can't add anything to this because my first COD was MW2.
You're one of those guys.
Well, no, okay. Let me preface. MW2 is great, but like my top COD is like MW3, which a lot of people.
It's funny.
Like,
that game never clicked with me.
It didn't.
I stayed on the Black Ops, like the previous, like MW2. I went back to Black Ops 1, or was it Black Ops 1, or was it World at War? It was World at War. I went back to World at War
when Black Ops 1.
So Black Ops 1 came out after MW2.
Yeah.
So I like skipped the MW. I played MW2 a good bit, but I always thought the TTKs were so quick. Like Treyarch games have always had that longer TTK to let you move around a little bit.
Yeah.
And I just like the Black Ops series. The Easter eggs that they have and zombies, and I don't do zombies anymore, but in the Black Ops 1 and World at War, I was playing zombies for sure.
Well, and I like those games too. Like I like the games that Treyarch could put out because World at War's Treyarch.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, Treyarch's king.
And I mean Treyarch is king, you know.
Yeah.
I put them
There
above.
was an argument at one point.
There was.
Now there is not.
There's no argument.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think back when there was MW2 and 3,
Yes.
you know, there was a good one, but now it's pretty clear who's the best developer.
Yeah.
But they always stuck with that idea of like again the history behind them.
Yeah.
Which I really like. And they continued that with Black Ops 1.
Oh man.
You know, which was so cool.
The Black Ops, I mean, I could talk about these games all day. Black Ops 1 was so good. Like, even the small things like getting out. I just made a TikTok about this, side note, but about getting out of the chair. You remember getting out of the chair and going over the terminal?
Yeah.
And typing in DOA?
Yep.
And you had the zombies where you would look down on. I mean, oh, man. Just little small stuff like that.
And just a really involved campaign.
The campaign was so
You know,
good.
because I think
So good.
nowadays, like, what was the one that came? Was it Black Ops 4? That was the.
There was no campaign.
There was no
yeah,
campaign.
that was the one that was shocking.
And Black Ops 3 was a terrible campaign.
Yeah.
Yeah. Black Ops 3 was terrible. I think now, like, there's been maybe a bit more of a focus on it because Vanguard's campaign, like, it was all right. It wasn't anything earth shattering. I thought Modern Warfare 2, when we're playing right now, I thought that campaign was pretty solid.
It was solid.
Yeah.
I think
You know.
Modern Warfare 19 was better, but I'm glad that it was like a good COD campaign.
Yeah.
Like I played every COD campaign since
Yeah.
COD 4. So I enjoy that still, like doing a playthrough and just, I don't know, it's fun.
Yeah, it is.
It's definitely like at the bottom of the barrel, like view wise now, unfortunately, but I mean, it's still something I like to do.
Yeah, but you think back in the day, that was what it was. It was like campaign was a big
They
deal.
focus on campaign and multiplayer.
Yeah.
And now they're split so far. It's DMZ, it's Warzone, it's multiplayer, it's campaign, it's ranked play. It's like there might be just a little too much.
Right.
Yeah, they're spreading themselves a little too thin.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would agree.
Yeah, no, I played MW2. My first console was a PS3. So I started like a lot later.
So you didn't even experience the 360.
No, I was a PlayStation.
Neither did I.
Yeah.
Oh,
We're
God.
not 360. Man, die hard PlayStation.
Yeah, I had like a modded Xbox, but like I didn't play any multiplayer or anything. My first like real console, I guess, like was a Game Boy Advance.
Yeah.
Like, playing Pokemon and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like MW2 was my first actual Call of Duty, and then I went back and played World at War. I like World at War.
Yeah.
But I haven't gone back and played like the first Call of Duties.
Yeah. I mean, there really wasn't a point. I mean, COD 3 was very bad. It was an okay COD, but COD 2 was pretty solid. And then you always hear Hex talking about how good it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was really, really good. COD 3 took a step back.
Those games though, like the campaigns, they're hard.
Yeah.
Like those
Yeah.
games are fucking hard.
Yeah.
They're not easy. You know, like I thought this was as recent as probably like 4 years ago or so. I went and played, was it Finest Hour? Cause I still
Yeah.
have it on my PS2.
Yeah.
And I was just like, man, I'm going to smoke this game.
Yeah.
This game's trash, you know, whatever. Bro, I was like, it was stressful.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
not as
Yeah.
easy as I thought it would
Yeah.
be, you know?
Yeah.
Because that movement is so jank.
Oh, it's bad.
know?
And,
Yeah.
and a bunch of recoil.
Oh.
Like, recoil is insane in those old
I mean,
games.
Medal of Honor too. Rising Sun is the one that I played for that. Bro, when you would like ADS, there was no iron sight. You would just be holding the gun and then would just zoom in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was disastrous. You know, it was hard.
That franchise kind of struggles. I don't even know if there are. I mean, obviously, Medal of Honor's not a thing anymore, but I know the last one was like, what was the last one that they tried to make on like 360?
Yeah,
and then it failed.
Yeah.
Airfield or something?
Airborne.
Airborne. But then there was one more after they tried to go modern. And then
Yeah,
they just.
I bought it. I remember it.
The Airborne was a cool idea. The
Into
Airborne
my
was,
childhood, and it was
the Airborne was a cool idea, though. You remember that? Where every match you
Yeah.
would fly in, and you're like, what?
man, you know your stuff. Yeah,
Yeah, but it was like, man, it kind of led to Warzone if you think about it. Not, it didn't, but it that dropping in vibe.
Well, that's to my knowledge, that's one of the only FPSs that did that
Oh, it was so fun.
prior.
And then you could just hop on, like you could just jump and land right next to somebody, like the enemy team. Like you just land in their spawns. But did you do it every time, or was it like only the first jump?
I think it was every.
I think it was every time.
I think it was every mission.
Sounds like Warzone to me.
Every mission you would play
Medal
when
of
you
Honor
started.
Warzone.
Yeah. Well, I mean, dude, you go back. Ratchet and Clank was one of the games that was doing that. Ratchet and Clank 3, you would dive in. That was like a whole mechanic that they started to add in.
My buddy loved that game.
You know, and then when they got to the PS3, so when they were showing off all the stupid DualSense stuff,
Yeah, yeah.
you'd have to be controlling it with your
Oh
mouth.
yeah. That was
Oh yeah. But yeah, Ratchet and Clank did that, and then Medal of Honor, the one we're thinking of, Airborne. Yeah,
I need to go back and watch some gameplay on that.
yeah. That's some good like falling asleep content.
Yeah.
Watch that.
Go back and watch a walkthrough.
A long play. Yeah.
Man.
But no, that might be the precursor to Warzone.
You know what? We might have discovered it.
Yeah, we might have.
Sounds like it to me.
Yeah.
I don't even know what you guys are talking
Yeah,
about.
That's your homework tonight. Medal of Honor
yeah.
Airborne gameplay.
I'll go
but
check it out.
so we're going on, which I love. But so you like earlier CODs, like you got into them, but then you all of a sudden go to a Vegas
Yes.
tournament for BO4. What's the game where you start watching competitive or you learn about competitive? You're like, whoa, this is the thing. Like people play this game for a
Yeah,
living. There's
yeah.
teams. There's money involved.
I was probably just like a lot of other people. I was probably Black Ops 2 when Scump and Nate Shot were doing the sweat banding or whatever it was called,
Yep.
YouTube videos.
Yep.
And I just got hooked. And then
So through content, through YouTube, you got into it.
yeah, through YouTube, and then just finding a guy that I liked and like following his story, just like so many other people. I followed Nate Shot. He's probably one of the top guys for a lot of people in the COD scene, I would assume. And really watched Ghost. Started playing in Ghost. Like BO2, I didn't play. I just watched. But they had league play. But I didn't. We played every once in a while. But I was playing with my buddies who were just farting around. Like they're like they don't know rotations or any of that stuff. They're like, are we just playing team deathmatch? What happened? And I'm like, just try to get on the point. You know what I mean? And so they didn't have as much like passion for it. But I did have another buddy that kind of, I guess, enjoyed it as much as I did. So we started doing like 2v2 GBs throughout Ghosts and Advanced Warfare, and we got slaughtered because I'm playing with no headset. Didn't know what a scuff was back then. So I was running into buzzsaws like I am today. There's been no change. Somehow I still like competitive COD. I've been getting buzzsawed for 10 years playing this game, but I still enjoy it.
Yeah. So when you went to CWO Vegas, was that was your first
Ever gaming event. Obviously I knew about them, but like never knew you could. I don't know. I don't know if I even cared. I was like, yeah. And then actually, you know what had happened? I had left my job that I got. It was like my first ever real job, and I left it. And just a little bit of a disagreement with me and the boss, and I was like, man, I need like a getaway. And then I'm like, you know what? There's a Vegas tournament in like a month. I hit my buddy up. I'm like, let's go. He's like, all right, let's go. So took a month of like off, no work. I had money saved up. So I was like, I could take a month and just like try to figure out what I want to do. And then I went to that event and I'm like, okay, I'm figuring out how to get into gaming. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it.
Yeah. And I mean, dude, you're killing it right now.
I'm trying with what we got.
Yeah. I mean, dude, our first event was last year at Major 4 in New York.
You get hooked.
Yeah. As soon as we got there, we were like, we have to keep doing this.
This is awesome.
Yeah, this is amazing.
It's addicting.
Yeah.
And then you just meet everybody in the space. Like it's crazy to me that, you know, when I first joined Boston, I went over to Doug's house. We got together and like I came here. We did something here, and I'm like, hey man, I'm gonna stop over before, chill at your house, and then drive the rest of the way. And I'm like, just lifting with Doug and like grabbing dinner with him. I'm like, 5 years ago, I would have passed out, talking to him. But I think as soon as you just treat them like normal people, it's just so much easier. Like, but it's just cool seeing all these people that I grew up watching, and I'm the same age, if not older than a lot of them, but I still respect them a ton of how they've been able to navigate the space and honestly like stay relevant for so long.
Yeah. I mean, backing up a little bit, but like when you joined the Boston Breach, how did that come about? I know you mentioned that you were part of the Toronto Ultra.
Yeah, so I was part of Toronto Ultra, and I did content with them for a year. And I my name was pretty out there. It was out there, but it was still like the TikTok guy. And because that was all I did for him, I just did TikTok, and I was like, okay, well, I kind of want to. Number one, I want to be more than that. So I was kind of waiting for that offer to be like, hey, be a little bit more, and it just didn't go through. Like they just kind of wanted me to be a TikTok guy, and I'm like, okay, well, that's great, but I'm gonna see if anything is out there. And so I actually met Chris at the Toronto event.
Oh wow.
So we had talked in the crowd for a little bit, and he's like, yeah, I think Breach is gonna start looking at content creators. Well, I was like, well, just let you know, my contract's up in like 2 weeks. So like, if you want to talk, I would love to go all in, because I was still working and doing content for Toronto at the same time. So, I would work 8 to 5 and then come home, do a TikTok for him, do my own stuff, and then, do them the next day. And I was like, man, I really want to take it to another level where I'm doing daily TikToks for, you guys, and just pushing the brand out as much as I can. He's like, all right, let's talk. And then I think I did a few interviews and talked to Dens, and I mean, I love Call of Duty. So I was like, I kept just saying that. I'm like, I'm down. Let's grow this brand. And they're like, all right. And like, I think a week later I had got the job offer, and I'm like, I'm taking it. And they allowed me to actually, the offer they gave me, I was able to quit my job. So I went full blown content.
That had to have been a moment.
That was cool. It was cool. It was, it's one of those things where a little stress, but
yeah,
it is what it is.
Yeah, but thinking about what you're saying too, about how you saw Sensor and all these guys growing up, and now you're hanging around with them, and you wanted to do content after quitting your job, and now you're here being like, wow, I got an offer, like, I can financially do this.
Yep.
It has to be pretty crazy.
It was crazy. It was definitely crazy, because I was
not working a normal job anymore.
Yeah, it's not a normal job, but like Chris and I were talking about earlier, it's definitely more stressful than my other job, because you're just like, your other job, you clock in and you kind of just float around a little bit, and then your day's over, and you're like, all right, once you go home, you go home. But like with COD, if a news piece comes out at 2 p.m. or at 8 p.m. or at 9 a.m., like, we need to be covering it. So it's like, you're kind of always thinking, you kind of always have your phone on you, that's probably the one downside, I would say. I feel like I'm on my phone way too much, which I'm trying to figure out a way around that. My goal is to get rid of it on Sundays and just not even check anything, and just get that refresher.
You get those screen.
Oh, I don't. I swipe them right away. I'm like, I ain't reading that. I don't know what that was.
I got mine today, and I'm just like,
we're going to disable that.
Yeah, like, no one needs to know that.
Yeah, I think that's the one thing that we get in trouble with. Number one is probably comparison. You watch other creators, either ones blow up, or and you're like, man, I feel like that should be me, or you're just on your phone so much that your brain just like, I need 5, So that's the one thing I want to work on, is definitely putting the phone away for a day, or even a couple hours in one of the days, just so I can get the brain reset. And I noticed it. I did it recently, and I came back the next day, just had so many ideas. Like, it was crazy. I'm like, whoa. I was like supercharged.
Yeah, I know. Like, you and I, like, we have this problem. Like, we're on our phones all the time now. And like, we work, like, you guys know, regular 9 to 5 jobs.
Yeah.
And then after work, like, I like edit all the podcasts and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, work, edit the podcast, thumbnail, think of more ideas. Like, it's just week to week to week to week.
Think too, with your work, right? You're always looking at a screen.
Yeah.
So
that's how I was.
Yeah.
Like
doing marketing. I'm always on a laptop.
That's the only break that I get, is because my work, I'm pretty much never on my phone. Like, it's very rare.
Yeah.
And then I get to, at the end of the day, get that break. But yeah, it's like you were saying too, with your job, you're in front of screens all day, and then you get done with work. Okay, I got to do like podcast stuff, more screen time. All right, now it's time to go game, more screen time.
Well, and that's the thing too. I mean, what I did, as soon as with my work money, I just started paying an editor, because I was like, I just can't do this anymore. Like, I was making all the content, I was editing it myself, and then on top of it, I was doing, my work was marketing and social media management. So I was doing the same thing for another company that I was doing for myself. So it was like, I need to get off the computer. So as soon as I pass off my work to an editor, and then number one, they do a 10 times better job than I do, maybe probably 100 times better job than I did. So that was cool, because then I could kind of free up my mind even more to just think of ideas and then get it to them right away, rather than have to do it and then cut it up and then post it. But yeah, it's been quite a journey.
Yeah, no, it definitely seems like it because the first time I heard of you was from TikTok.
Yeah,
I saw
it
one.
Usually always is.
I saw like a Krig setup. I was like, oh man, this is really
so
good.
so you've been way back then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I didn't know you were signed on Toronto Ultra like at all. And then
Yeah, me either.
the
I
next
was there
time
for a year. Yeah.
I heard was Boston Breach signed you. I was like, oh my god, like
Yeah.
this.
Yep.
I watched him on TikTok.
Yeah, that's the thing too, is you're seeing a lot of these TikTok guys like a Mr. Marvel, who's another TikTok guy. He's on Minnesota. There's a guy named Burger who's on Minnesota. Mav and all these people were on like New York. So TikTok, a lot of these guys, Josh from 100 Thieves, I don't know if you ever met him. So these guys that blew up their TikTok early on, a lot of them have positions in CDL orgs or other orgs, which is kind of cool because I don't know. I just didn't know how it was going to run with TikTok, but it seems to be a strategy for a lot of orgs now.
Well, it's great too because I mean, you know, we're all like relatively like in the same age bracket. So
Yeah.
to think like you're saying earlier about making games, like game design, that's the only job I'd ever think of when I was, you know, in middle
Trying to
school.
get in
Trying to
gaming.
get into
Yeah.
games.
Yep.
Yeah. You're like, are you
Yep.
going to make video games? Like there was no thought of competing
There
or
ain't
being
no
a
shot I could do that. Yeah.
or being a content creator.
Yeah.
Those weren't even things.
Yeah.
You know, but nowadays that's like it's not that difficult to get into those scenes. Like it's very hard to make it into it.
Yeah.
But to get your foot started, at least trying
Had to
those
download
things.
an app.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, that's the one thing I think is great about technology nowadays is that like a lot of these apps, they allow this to happen.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, there's so much more discoverability. Like 5 years ago after Black Ops 4, it would have been grind YouTube videos and stream. But now it's like you can post reels, Instagram reels, you can post Facebook reels, you can post shorts, you can post TikToks.
Yeah.
And like I was talking about like a Mr. Marvel, like his Facebook is crushing it. So like I don't know, it's just you can try to get big on any of those platforms and you know, brands will work with you and it's just it's crazy. There's so much more platform, I think,
Yeah.
to operate from.
Yeah, because I mean, back in the day, it was pretty much only YouTube. You would make
That was
if
it.
you were going to be doing Call of Duty. It was like we talked about earlier. It was gameplay commentary.
30 bombs.
Yeah, you got to go. Yeah, you got to be really good at the game.
Yep.
You got to go buy an. Was it Hop Hog? Is that what
Yeah,
they used?
the Hop Hog.
Yeah, they used that. You had to go buy that.
Yeah.
I mean, you had to be like locked in, and you just
Yep.
got to be grinding out. There was no other way to do it.
Yep.
You know, so now it's again, you got a phone, which pretty much every kid has. Like,
Yes.
just turn it on. You're good.
That's what happens. I make one of my shorts and then I just open up all 4 apps and send it on my phone and then that's it.
How much do you think your background of like social media like actually helped you break into the scene?
I actually think it helped me a pretty good bit because I knew working at a job in social media, I always had to be ready for the next thing. And I think if you're not ready for the next thing, like we were talking about earlier, like Kick, like that's something now, it's been out for a month, but I've already thought about, you know, either 50-50 splitting or like 70-30 because my time, that is, because their revenue split is just great. And then you never know what can happen with that.
Yep.
So, I mean, TikTok was the same way. I think it's got a little more, I don't know. I still don't know everything about Kick, so I'm not going to act like I do. But I just know that it's an opportunity. And instead of being like, oh, la, 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 it's like, all right, well, while you guys say that stuff, I'm going to do that. And that's the same thing I did with like Instagram and Facebook. Like everybody was kind of bad-mouthing Instagram. And they still bad-mouth it. Well, some of my best connections and people that I met within the industry were on Instagram. And I'm like, okay, well, you guys can just not post over there and I'll just keep posting over here because that's one less person I'm competing with.
Right.
So I just, anytime there's a new something, I try to see, kind of have that like, I guess, thoughts of like, okay, how can we apply this in the content we're making?
How important is networking for you in the content world?
Yeah, I think like any job, it's pretty big. It's a lot of who you know type situation. I don't think that goes away in any job.
Yeah.
Definitely
Like,
not.
You know, so I mean, like I said, I was talking to Chris in Toronto and was talking about content while I was at the major. And if I never would have talked to him, I don't think I would have had this job right now. So me and him hit it off pretty well too. So that was cool. But yeah, I would say it's super important.
Yeah, I mean, you and I could do a better job at networking, but it's insane that the amount of like people we've met just doing this podcast.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like we started this podcast back in 2021, and we haven't missed a week. We've just been posting just because we're having fun.
Yeah. That's the best way to be, too.
Yeah, and like we started before Boston Breach was a thing, and I remember back in the day, like 2 years ago, when we were talking about CDL needs a Boston team. They need a Boston team.
Yeah.
When that happened, we were like, what?
Yeah.
How'd that happen?
Oh yeah, it was like we just couldn't believe it because that was when what was the team? Washington something or other.
It was supposed to be like Baltimore or Washington, right?
I think it was Washington.
like Hellcats or something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that was
I
supposed
thought
to be
about
like,
applying there because that's where I live near that.
right.
I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
wow,
yeah.
this is nice.
So you're from Maryland, right?
Yeah, Maryland. So it would have been right there in the backyard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we saw them. We were like, damn.
Yeah.
You know, we wish like it would have been Boston team, and then it fell through. And
Yeah.
it turned out to be that we're looking at each other like, you got to be kidding me.
I'm glad it fell through.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like for us, like you and I were both from here.
Yeah.
Super close to the facility.
Yeah.
So we've been coming in, just meeting everyone around here, and it's been great. Everybody in here is like awesome.
And like same thing you were saying about getting to see any of these people that you would like. The fact that we even like again we talked to Denz and he even slightly knows who the hell we are.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
seeing Nero and these people and chatting with them.
Yeah.
We walk out of here and we're just like, dude, what is going
And
on?
most of them are
You
very
know?
down to earth. I mean, almost everybody I've ever spoken to,
Yeah.
super down to earth.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I totally was gonna say. Anyway,
Yeah, it's so surreal.
Yeah, it
you
is.
know,
It really
to think
is.
that just I don't know, a couple months before even starting, or just when we did start it, just having fun with it, that this would become slightly anything.
Yeah.
You know, the fact that people would know our name, or we go and talk to these professional players, or talking to
Yep.
guys like you or Denz or any of them. It's
well, I still think
wild.
it's weird that people come up to me and they're like, "Man, I've been watching you for like 3 years," because you don't think about that stuff when you're making videos in your room.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like until I went to the Boston Major and people were coming up to me like, "Hey, man, you want to get a picture?" I'm like, "That's kind of cool."
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
because you don't really. I mean, I have people every once in a while come up to me at local, but I think that's honestly more because like word gets around local. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Oh, that dude does that. You know,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
people
yeah.
come up to me.
Right.
But like, yeah, that when Boston, where people were like, "Oh yeah, that's Tdawg," and I'm like, "Wow, it's weird."
Yeah, it's got to be strange because you're living in Maryland, right?
Yeah.
And you just like you're in your room, you do your stuff, and then there's no like
Go
you
to the
just-
gym and then I come home.
Yeah, like you stream and you're like, all right, see it, turn it
Yeah,
off.
yeah.
You know, all right,
You don't
let
have
me film
you
this.
don't talk to the people in person.
Yeah, exactly. So it's almost like you feel it's like isolated.
It is
like,
isolated though.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
It is. Because I mean, to me, like, that's why I go to the gym so much. I try to go almost every day. I'm big into the gym, big into basketball. And I try to do basketball a couple times a week and then the gym like 6 times a week. Because, like, if I don't, I mean, I sit in that room
All day.
all day, which is, it's like I said, it's a dream job. I love it so much. But, like, even those, like, where I feel pretty, like, I don't want to say with it, but, like, some days I'm like, oh, man, I just want to lay on the couch.
Right.
Because you're just like, I don't know, it's weird. But yeah, gets me out of the house, lift, always feel better after that, basketball. So I try to be as physically fit as I can for being a gamer.
Yeah.
Because sometimes the gamers get the bad rap of not doing anything, drinking Mountain Dew, eating Doritos, which there are plenty of those. But
Yeah.
Yep.
just like anything else, there's other people in that. Like Doug, I was a big Doug guy, Merck's guy. Like they all did fitness stuff. So it just showed you that you could be both.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So that must have been crazy for you when you went to go lift with Doug.
I lifted with Doug. I lifted with Doug, and I'm telling you, I've been watching that dude's YouTube since like he said he didn't eat a hamburger. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Which was
yeah,
like 2013 or something like that. And I'm like, okay, number one, you're lying because who hasn't had a hamburger when they're 18 years old?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, seeing all his fitness content and his vlog content, and then you meet him, and dude's the nicest guy in the world. Like, I stayed the night at his house. He had the whole bed out for me. Guy's making breakfast for me in the morning. I'm like, this is nice, man.
Yeah.
And that was like the first time we had hung out. Like we had talked plenty of times before that, but like actually hung out that was the first time.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's like to
He
me
gets a bad rap, but he gets a
for no reason.
for no
no
reason.
reason.
Honestly, just because he's
Why? Because he believes in himself.
yeah, he's
How dare
very
he?
he's very he I don't want to say over the top, but like he definitely is like in your face about it. He's like, I'm gonna make it. But then the crazy thing is some of the stuff that he says is like a lot of it just it actually happens.
Right.
And you're
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
what? Because like he was like, yeah, I'm gonna get on a challengers team and everybody that I play with, they're gonna get pro and then we're gonna dominate, and it's exactly what's happened. Like
Yeah.
every person he's played with is on a pro team almost right now. I'm
Yeah.
like, what?
Yeah.
But when he says it 8 months ago, I'm like, this dude's off the rocker.
Yeah.
But then 8 months later, he's right. And I'm like, maybe I got to listen to Doug a little bit more.
Yeah, his self-belief is
through the roof.
It's insane.
It's inspiring,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah.
You know, because that guy, like, the amount of hate that he gets online, you know, people memeing him and saying
Yeah.
that he's out of his mind. It's like the guy would have every excuse to just
Pack it up.
and
Pack
say,
it up.
screw it, man, I'm not
Yeah.
gonna do it, you know. And two, he could just stick to content, and he would make so much more money just doing that all the time. Forget competing, you know.
Yeah.
But he just keeps doing it, you know.
I was thinking about that the other day. Like, man, this is no inside information, but just thinking about for him, like, what if he like coached and made content?
Yeah,
I feel like he would just kill both of those avenues, but still wants to compete. So it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
because I guess coaching and content will always be there. Competing won't be.
right.
You know, I found that out this weekend. Like, competing will not always be there.
And we talked with Dens too. It was like, do you miss competing? He's like, oh yeah. You
Yeah.
know? Like
Yeah.
he's a coach and he's retired, but he's like, oh,
I'd love to get in there, probably. He
Yeah,
says that, yeah.
yeah. He's like, I'd love to be on stage and just like be locked in,
Yeah.
the lights on him, you know.
I love that. Like when I play basketball, like the more people in the crowd, the more cheering and booing, like that makes you more ready to go.
Yeah,
You know, more locked in.
yeah. I mean, Sensor, he's a beast. I mean, we'd love to have him on one day, you
One
know.
day.
'Cause
He'll
he's-
have
I'm sure he would do it,
yeah,
Yeah.
He's-
especially if you're in the area.
yeah. No, he's all around. He's a beast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
we met him at the LAN party.
The
MW2?
land, yeah.
Yeah.
I was there.
Were you?
Yeah. When it first came out?
Well, no, we met him at the Challengers event. That was the one.
Oh, the
that,
first challenge.
the first
yeah, the
round.
challenge.
Yeah, yeah.
That was the one where Ultra
mid-
Academy
Ultra,
won.
yeah.
The midnight launch. I wasn't at that.
We were at the midnight.
I was at the midnight launch.
Yeah, we were there.
I was
Now it's full circle.
I was up casting.
Yeah.
I was up casting.
Yeah,
we
that's
we
why
saw
we
you
didn't go
there,
up.
yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't go up to you or Dens because you guys were casting.
Yeah,
that
we
was
didn't want
fun,
to mess with
actually.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was just casting and I had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah. No, we met Doug. I shook
Was Doug
Doug's
there?
hand.
No,
And-
this was
no,
on
no,
the
W2.
Ultra,
Okay,
Yeah. Shook his hand. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
are big.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
dude, and,
Nicest guy ever, though.
Yeah.
Nicest guy ever.
yeah, and the thing too is like, I mean, we're the same thing. We watched all his content.
Yeah.
And just to see him, I'm like, yo.
It's
like,
weird when you see him in person, honestly, because you see him on a screen for so long.
Yeah.
And then you're like, wow, that's actually him in the flesh.
Yeah, there's certain people that you get like, say, starstruck over.
Yeah, for
you
sure.
know? Like, that's what's so like weird for us.
Even being in the scene.
esport.
I've been in the scene for
Yeah.
2 years now, and I still like, go up to certain people. I'm like, man, this is now I'm a little bit more
mellow.
mellow about it because I know it's when people come up to me and they're just very casual. It's like, okay, this is cool.
Yeah.
And then like, I was on the flank the last time in Boston.
Yep.
And I was like, this is that had me a little bit like, whoa. Like, what the heck? Like looking around almost like, how the heck am I on this couch?
Right. This is a
But-
mistake.
Yeah, this is I got the wrong guy.
Yeah,
But that was during the Boston match, so I didn't go on it the rest of the time. But
Right.
it was still surreal.
Yeah, but just seeing him and like knowing what he's done and like knowing his whole history, I'm like, this guy doesn't even know who I am. But it's so strange that I know his whole life story just
Yeah.
from watching his content.
Yeah.
You know, no, it's really really cool.
It's crazy.
You know, it's cool to see the people's journey too throughout time. You know, doing
Yep.
like all through his competing and then as well as his content stuff.
Yep.
You know, so you had been like playing Call of Duty, you played multiplayer, you were into the
Yep.
competitive scene, and then Warzone comes out,
Warzone comes out,
and is that where
changes everything.
changes everything for
Changes
you?
everything. Because I liked Black Ops 4. I didn't like it enough to make content. Like I was honestly, I was grinding Fortnite because that was the heyday of Fortnite.
Yep.
So I was watching competitive COD, but playing in my spare time Fortnite. And then obviously I was watching some streams. I didn't really enjoy watching Fortnite as much as I enjoyed playing it. So I would watch Black Ops 4 and I would play Fortnite. And so I did some streams of Fortnite, and that was just such a waste of time because nobody was watching a 5-viewer streamer of Fortnite. So we cut that quickly. But yeah, then Warzone comes out. It was just a perfect storm. It was Warzone, it was pandemic, it was TikTok, and it all hit at the same time. And I did all three at the same time, and it worked.
How important was it, do you think, that you left your job signing with Breach,
Yeah, like
right?
6 months ago.
Yeah. Do you think it's really important to have like a good, because we talk about it all the time, like a good,
Quitting your job.
yeah.
Your
Well, no,
safety net.
your safety
Yeah.
net. Yeah. Like having a good cash reserve.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's smart. Some people don't like to hear that because I didn't like to hear it because people were like, I always wanted to be like, I wanted to say, should I quit my job? And somebody would be like, yeah, do it.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna do it.
You want
But,
that?
but then the people would be like, nah, man, just wait until you like get a like decent amount of money from a like you have a decent money saved up where you can like float for 3 or 4 months and do whatever you want, and then you find a job that actually pays what your other salary paid. So I think it's smart. I know it's not what you want to hear, but it's definitely what you should do.
Yeah.
Because
unless you're in a situation where like you hate your job.
yeah,
Like that's what I told my wife. I was like, if I would have hated my job and like we had enough money saved up for like 6 months, I would have done it. Because especially now, like you can get a job wherever, whenever. Like everybody's hiring.
Yeah.
Everybody needs help. So it's like you can just do it that way. But I didn't hate my job. I loved my job. So I was like, I'll just hang on. And then, the work level was not very good by the end. like I was probably the last 3 or 4 months there. It was getting to a point where I kind of felt bad. Like I feel like I'm taking advantage of the situation where like they're giving me a paycheck and I'm like I'm barely working. So because that was a lot to do with the pandemic too. Like you open up, you do some marketing for a little bit, and it's like, okay, well I don't have to go in the office, and I did the post for the day. I made sure the AdWords were dialed in. Like the website's everything's running. Like everything's going well. There's no tech issues on the field. I guess I'm gonna go make some TikToks.
Yeah, because like you and I, we like our jobs. I enjoy what I do.
Yeah.
I enjoy the people that I work with.
Well, that makes it better then.
Yeah.
Because then you can just do this, like you said, for fun.
Yeah.
And then if it blows up one day, you're like, all right, now I'm in a situation where I can choose what I want to do.
Yeah, I think it takes a lot of stress off us,
Yeah, a ton of stress.
because that's our ultimate goal. Like,
Well, that was what Breach was for me.
Yeah.
Breach was the stress reliever.
yeah,
Because it was like, I could quit my job, depend on Twitch subs, depend on if brands want to work with me on TikTok. But that's like every month is different.
yeah,
Because a brand might not reach out to me 1 month. And then like Twitch subs, you know how they are. 1 month, 1,500. Next month, 400. And you're like, So I was making this amount 1 month, and now I'm struggling to get by on another month. So the Breach was just like, okay, now I have a little security. Now I can go either take some chances or like for my personal content.
right.
We know Breach is going to be COD related always, but I was playing Last of Us the other day. I don't know if I would have done that a year ago.
Yeah.
Right.
Because it's like, okay, COD.
It's a risk.
Yeah.
Yeah, just creating multiple revenue streams for yourself.
Yeah.
That's basically what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, for us, like, we don't make any money off of this.
No.
Like but again,
But the early TikTok was no money.
yeah. But like for both of us, I could speak probably is that we would want to do esports, like be signed with an org.
Yeah.
Doing
like a podcast.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
But again, like there's no like time crunch like that. We see the
Yeah, you're
bank
like 6
account
months.
dwindling.
Yeah, you're like
and we're
6
like,
months,
yo,
I gotta
I
do
gotta
this
pay
or
rent.
not.
Like if I'm not gonna eat today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good spot to be.
Yeah, which I think a lot of challengers players and people getting into content, that's a mistake a lot of people make,
Yeah, I'm like, I work in finance, so when I see a lot of these younger guys like competing at local lands and stuff, and some of them, I hope you're not blowing all your money coming to here, because like, that just
wearing
worries
the
me.
Yeezys and wearing the that kind of stuff.
Yeah, because like I mean, we'll be transparent here. Like you and I, we've turned down like sponsors and stuff.
Yeah.
because like we don't think it fits to our brand. Like we want a gaming brand first to partner with.
Yeah.
Nope.
And we're lucky enough to have like the cash reserves to like do that.
Yep.
And that's why we have all this equipment.
Yeah, exactly.
We have like staples.
It's all out of our pockets.
That's exactly how I did it. When I got my check from work, I would go, all right, my buddy owned a company. Is like, when you get money, put it into your own, put it back into the business type of vibe.
Yeah.
So I would get a paycheck from my work, and I would go buy another monitor, or I'd go buy another mic. Better. I think the best purchase I ever made was a nice mic, DSLR mic, and a nice camera. I think that makes a world of difference with content, especially short form. You want it to sound good and look good. Obviously, you need the content to be good too, but like, I can just go back and watch some of my old TikToks. I'm like, oh my gosh, that is bad.
That's how we feel right now. If we went back, and I'm sure it's gonna feel like that next.
Oh yeah. Even almost like a couple, like even from content from like 3 months ago, I'm like, eesh, because you're always just trying. I'm always like, you see other people make TikToks. You're like, oh, I like that they did this little part of it. I kind of want to take that and like put my little spin on it. And then all of a sudden your content looks different 3 months from now because you kind of, I don't know, just adjusted and took a different route. It's weird how that works.
Dude, hearing you talk about this, like, we need to do a better job.
Yeah.
We need to grind more.
Yeah. Because the thing is, the space is always changing.
Yeah.
It's
It always
evolving,
is changing.
like day to day.
I mean, 6 months ago, I didn't have a Facebook page. And then I made a Facebook page and I just posted my reels on there. And there's people that have done way better, but I have like 13,000 followers on there now, which it's a dead platform. It's for old people, but there's people, they are eyeballs. So it's like, just because they're old or they're, what does that matter?
Yeah.
Same thing with TikTok. It's all young audience. Okay. They're paying my bills. So
Yeah, exactly.
I don't care how old they are.
Well, I know you got to go, but just to wrap everything up.
Yeah. Has it been 45 minutes already?
It's been 50 right now.
It's been 50.
Yeah. I know. It goes by fast.
This has been fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah.
I gotta go to the airport, guys. If I didn't have to go to the freaking airport, I gotta cancel my flight for the morning, and I modified because I was gonna go out. I don't know if this needs to be on the podcast or not, but we're doing it.
Keep
Anyway.
it
Yeah,
in
keep-
Yeah,
whatever.
So we had a flight at 6 a.m. I didn't feel like getting up at 5 o'clock or 4 o'clock.
Don't blame you.
So I switched it to 9:45 or 9:30, whatever it is, and that was a last minute play. But I feel good about it because everybody's done. Chris went home for the day. So I'm like, I'm not gonna sit in here and do nothing.
I don't blame you. You'd just be sitting in your hotel, just waiting.
I didn't feel like doing that.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go to the hotel, get my stuff. Probably, is there any good food places in the airport?
Yeah, there's some good places.
Trying to think of what would be good. I haven't been
mean-
to Logan
I
in
mean,
a while.
you got
What's
your
the other airport that you go to?
Was it TF Green?
Yeah, TF Green.
How close
Providence.
is that? Closer than?
It's closer here.
Yeah.
From here, yeah.
Should have thought about that.
I
Maybe
think
next time.
I think it's more expensive though to fly out.
Yeah,
of
that's-
Is it
Providence.
smaller, maybe?
Yeah.
Okay.
it's smaller.
Okay.
Yeah. But I was gonna ask, like, so, are you the only one in like your friend group back at home, like in this scene, and like, what do your friends like think about this?
Yeah. I am definitely the only one in the scene. I've tried to get my friends. I told my buddy, I said, please, I'm telling you, I'm gonna. Not to be like cocky, but I was like, I'm gonna make it into this scene. I kind of had that attitude. I'm like, I'm gonna make it. I was like, I want you with me. I wanted to do like a Neo and Mercs type vibe. You know Neo and all them. Maybe not.
I don't
Okay, so like it's Warzone creators, but like they were buddies, and then they like kind of made content together, and then like they kind of blew up together too. And I was like, man, we can do this together, because I always want to do that, or with my brother. My brother is unbelievable at video games, and I'm like, hey man, we could do. I don't know if you ever seen X2. There are these twin brothers that play Fortnite together,
Okay.
and I'm like, man, or Hitch, like that 3 camera thing. I'm like, we could. I was like, me and my brother, we could do that. Nobody bit. So I wanted people to be with me and create like a little team where we could make like a content, like KYR Speedy. I'm kind of going all rabbit hole here. I'm saying, but they were all friends and they were making like videos together.
Yeah, who was in that group?
Jehovah.
Dothy, the Nogla.
Yeah, Legion was in there for a little bit.
There's H2O in there.
H2O Delirious
Yeah.
was in
Yeah. So it was like, that's what I wanted to
Or
do.
Vanos Gaming, that crew.
That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to create a little crew, and then we all had the person. Like when we were together, it was so funny. Like I thought it was funny, at least. Some people have different humor, but it was. I was like, man, we could do this, and
Yeah.
everybody got real jobs, and so did I. But I just kept
kept up
playing
with it.
video games.
Yeah. I mean, that's what we're trying to do. We're the only ones that play video games. And
Yeah.
again,
it's kind of sad.
Yeah, it is. We talk about it all the time. Like, it's just us two for years now.
Yeah.
And
We're the last two.
But it's like the funny thing was, my whole friend group kind of faded, and then Fortnite came out, and then everybody came back. Like you would get on and you'd have 30 people on your friends list, and you could just be like, you could have a new squad every night. And then that started to fade, and then it happened again with Warzone. So I think we're just in that down period. Like everybody of my friends, they were on Warzone. Like
Same.
everybody came back for like a year.
A lot of my college friends, same thing.
All came back.
Warzone and MW2.
Everybody came back for a little bit
just because the name.
Yeah,
They were
yeah,
like,
they got everybody.
and then
with
they were
that.
like,
They-
"Yo, Mike, this
is not
ain't
COD.
This ain't like
This ain't COD.
This ain't like the other MW2."
Yep.
I'm
Yep.
like, "Dog, you need to do your research before you get a game."
So I think we're either waiting for another game to like come out of nowhere where everybody gets back on. Like I think everybody was trying to make it Apex, but I'm just not an Apex guy, so it didn't click with me. A little too much little too much TTK for me. I'm a big fan of higher TTK, but it just felt like feels clunky to me. I don't know why, but yeah, we're waiting for that next game. I'm hoping it's Treyarch's COD.
That's what I'm hoping for.
Warzone 2 is not at it for you right now.
Warzone 2 is, oof.
It's bad.
What's the scoop?
What's the rating?
What's the scoop?
What's the
Mr.
rating?
Warzone
I'd
2?
probably
What do you
give it
think?
like a 3 out of 10.
Damn.
Yeah, it's not good.
Because we tell our audience all the time we're not Warzone guys, so we can't really comment on it as much. Multiplayer all day, but I mean,
Yeah, Warzone. It's just everything that was great about Warzone 1. They just took it away, and they tried to please the casual, but I'm not even sure the casual likes this experience. So it's like they went just too far off the rails. But they're slowly. I will say this: they are slowly starting to make moves. But when I say the word slowly, I'm talking about slow, because it's been what 5 months since the game came out.
Yeah.
And we just got sprinting while plating. We just got like picking up plates when you walk over them. Like these were basic things that were on Warzone 1 that we didn't even think about. And they took them away from Warzone 2. They tried to make it very looty. Like kind of like Black Ops or Blackout. Did you ever play Blackout?
Yep.
That was very looty. But even Blackout the speed was higher.
Oh yeah, cool.
This was like Blackout looting, and then just the movement was so slow.
I mean, yeah, even some of the people, like if you guys are listening, like let us know about Warzone, because we're called the COD Casuals.
Yeah.
You know, we are casuals. We're not pro players. You know, we don't grind like Warzone and stuff.
Yeah.
But a lot the audience, like,
You're not
say the
missing
same exact thing.
Yeah.
You guys aren't missing anything.
Yeah, there's nobody that's like, competitive as far as we know that listens,
Yeah.
Even still like, though we may take it more serious than an average player, like I have my super casual
Crew.
from college that I talk to them, and they're just like slamming drinks at the end of the day. And they say the same thing. They're like,
Yeah.
bro, why is it like
It's so bad.
Yeah,
Are there no
why is-
red dots?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the first thing.
That's what
they
I
said to
don't.
me.
I don't know where they're getting their casual. What do you call
Stats.
that? Like
That's
yeah,
what
like
it's-
their people feedback. I
Yeah.
don't know where it's coming from. I think it's honestly Infinity Ward just having a belief in their system, and like that's it. Like we know what we want to do, and this is what we're doing.
Yeah, it all starts from the top.
Yep.
If you don't if you don't listen to the fan base,
I just feel like COD right now is just in a very. It's one of those years where, but we've had a couple of those years in a row.
yeah,
Like
definitely.
Warzone 1 was like everybody, it was up. Everybody was like feeling good. We're like, Call of Duty's back, baby. And then they put out Cold War, which was a great game to watch. But when you had Warzone mechanics, you couldn't go switch to Cold War.
Yep.
It was totally different. So nobody that played Warzone played Cold War, myself included. And then Vanguard comes out. That game is terrible to a lot of people. And then
does.
with Warzone integration, it was the worst integration possible. Did terrible. They went from 5 basic attachments to like 9. And it was, the whatever Volkswagen gun, which nobody can pronounce. I was doing these class setups and I'm like, here's the Volkswagen with 8 attachments. People are like, I ain't watching that. Like, I'm not upgrading that gun. And then MW2 comes out and Warzone 2 comes out and it's just like not what people wanted. So I think we're at like 3 years in a row or 2 solid years in a row. Just like we need something. We need to light the end of the tunnel here.
I mean, yeah, dude, we posted an episode every week during Vanguard, and man, there are so many weeks where like we're just complaining about the game every week at this point.
Yeah.
Like they didn't fit. So we're big control guys. I know like a lot of people in competitive hate that game mode.
Yeah.
But I love Control from Black Ops 4, and it's never the same. But
Yeah, Control in Black Ops 4 was great.
yeah. And in Vanguard, they never fixed it. It's been broken all year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I tweeted out about it not that long ago because there's some control glitch now that's in this game.
Love to see it.
Yeah, where you'll win a round, but the round will go to the other team. Which I thought it was just a fluke.
We
from one guy.
needed that this weekend.
Yeah, right. yeah, exactly. Just get that all the time. But I remember in Vanguard, man, you'd be playing like it didn't even matter if you were on offense or defense. You'd just be playing, and then halfway through the round, it would just be round lost.
Yeah.
Or round won.
Yeah.
Whoever just decided to bless.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So you'd have a 3-0. Or it would be a 3-2.
Yeah.
It'd be a 3-2 in a matter of like, I don't know, 2 minutes. So it was crazy.
Yeah.
I don't think it made its way into ranked.
No.
It was just in pubs.
Just pubs.
I'm just waiting for Black Ops.
You know,
I'm with you.
Give me Black
game-breaking
Ops.
game-breaking issue never fixed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Treyarch does a good job.
Treyarch's the only one I feel like that listens now.
I agree.
And Raven Software, but that's Warzone based,
Yeah,
so you
yeah.
guys don't even deal with them.
Yeah.
Raven Software is really good at listening to the feedback when they get. So Infinity Ward was like in control of Warzone for I think the first couple months, and now Raven has taken over, and now everything's changing.
Did Raven do MW3?
Raven did Modern Warfare Remastered.
Yeah. Sledgehammer did MW3.
Did Sledgehammer did MW3?
And Infinity, it was like all three. It was
Yeah.
like
I thought it was
three,
IW,
it was like three developers.
Sledgehammer, and
Yeah.
Raven.
It might have been.
I thought it was.
It might have been.
I had to go check the database. For that.
Yeah.
Can't
That was a
remember.
couple years ago.
Yeah, just like maybe 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, the other day.
Yeah. But yeah, dude, we just hit an hour here, so we can just keep going off. But I know you gotta go. But
Yeah.
what's some advice that you can give to the audience here that want to get into content, or like even advice for us?
Yeah.
Things that we're doing bad, we're open for any criticism.
Yeah, I mean, for you guys, I would just say, like, dude, I don't know if you have a TikTok yet. I know you probably don't want to get on it. I get it. But, like, dude, you could split these clips up with your hot takes, with, like, your whatever, your major predictions, your state of Call of Duty, your top 5 lists, do whatever, and just clip it and put it on TikTok, because it doesn't hurt. Put it everywhere.
Yeah.
Instagram, Facebook, like every platform, it might react to it differently. Like I'll post a video on Facebook and it'll do great, and then I'll post a TikTok and it'll bomb. So it's like you just never know. You could start posting clips everywhere, and then your shorts could start blowing up, and you're like, oh wow, like we should have been doing this a year ago. So I would say if I was a new creator, I would not stream. The last thing I'd be worried about is streaming. I would download every app, and I would start making short form content, post it out every day, productive stuff. Don't just throw your clip up of a 3v1. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. It needs to be like informative or funny or storytelling. And then long form, obviously, which I can't give too much advice because I've been all short form, but I'm starting to get into long form. But I would say start doing that too, and do it the same way. Informative. Try to give people information or funny or something, storytelling. Nobody cares right now about your 40 bomb on El Mazrah. Nobody cares unless you're a pro, like the people that watch you because you're good. So make your stuff. That's why I took the informative route, because I'm like, okay, people are always going to be new to the game. They're going to be some noobs everywhere. So they may need the settings once a week or once a month. They may need a loadout for a rookie build who don't have all the attachments unlocked. So it's like, I kind of chose that audience rather than the super sweats.
Yeah.
And it got me here. So I'll take it.
We got to grind, dude.
Absolutely.
Gotta keep grinding.
Grind. Yeah. Grind, but do it like
Productively.
Yeah, productively. And like I definitely believe in like taking a day, like a day of rest. I always try to, and it sounds old fashioned, but like I try to make Sunday my day where I don't record anything. I don't try to check my phone as much. Just chill, do the old relaxation, and get the mind back for Monday. So grind, but I'm not the 24/7 kind of guy for advice, because I didn't do it that way. So yeah.
Okay.
Good advice.
Yeah.
Good advice.
I try.
Well, I think we can end her there, right?
I think we're good, man.
Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate
of course.
Thanks
It's
for
awesome.
coming on again.
Yeah,
It's
for
been a
sure.
pleasure.
Now I'm flying home.
Yeah, exactly. yeah.
Well, thank you everyone for listening to episode, whatever this is.
Yeah.
Leave a like for Pete's sake. You know what I mean?
please. Like, share, leave a 5-star rating, because that helps us out a lot. We're on anchor.fm/the COD Casuals. Go to our Twitter, follow us there, because we're always tweeting. We'll leave Tdawgs. If you're not already following him, go sub to him.
Road to 10K on Twitter.
Yep.
There you go.
We're almost there.
Yeah.
Almost there. Yeah. So I'll leave all your links and stuff right down below. And yeah, that's been it. So thank you, everyone. This has been episode whatever. I'm your host, Justin.
I'm Mike.
And we'll see you guys next time.
Take it easy, everybody.
See ya.